नमस्कार मैडम। मैडम गुड आफ्टरनून। अच्छा, इधर है।
थैंक यू। इसको ऑन कैसे करूं मैं? इधर ऑन है?
इंडिकेशन तो नहीं कर रहा ना?
नहीं तो हेलो, कैन यू हियर माय वॉइस?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ओके ओके
Okay.
हाँ बढ़िया है। हाँ जी, चलिए लेट अस स्टार्ट।
Welcome everyone. Today we are celebrating the National Education Day. This is celebrated on the birth anniversary of Abdul Kalam Azad. The day is celebrated since 2008 on 11 November every year. As you all are aware, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad served as the Education Minister, the first Education Minister of independent India for over 10 years, from 1947 to 1958. He was honored posthumously with India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, in 1992. This was a person who was involved in a number of activities. He was a journalist. He was a politician, and most important of all, as far as we are concerned in SPA Delhi, he was also an institution builder, and he had some contribution in making SPA Delhi also. Several times he was arrested by the British while participating in freedom movement. Once he was arrested for when he was participating in Mahatma Gandhi's movement, SALT movement. In that he got arrested. Although he was born in Makkah, Saudi Arabia in 1988, he spent most of his life in India. Like I said, he was institution builder. He also was a journalist, and he started 2 newspapers. He was a huge promoter of Hindu-Muslim unity, so integrity of the country was very dear to him. He was founder of Jamia Millia Islamia University, and also he served as the president of the Indian National Congress. Several contributions I can keep on counting that he made to the Indian education system. IITs and IISC, SPA, University Grants Commission were established under his tenure as Education Minister. Even prominent cultural literary academies like Sangeet Natik Academy, Lalit Kala Academy, Sahitya Academy, all of these got established with his contribution as Education Minister. But if we talk about personalities, we can always count their contribution, and certainly Maulana Abul Kalam Azad made huge contribution to India's independence movement, as well as the first education minister. He built so many institutions which are in existence even today. But as the system stands today, apart from him, of course, several other education ministers, including today's minister, have made contributions. We are celebrating this day to remember this great man who had a huge contribution to India's independence as well as the education system today. I want to make a few more points, not related to the personality or not related to the institution that he created, but also the setup that is enduring and classic as far as education system is concerned today. For example, the UGC that got established during his tenure exists even today and greatly contributes to university education system in India. So we fondly remember him today for his contribution to Indian independence and building uh, uh, sustainable institutions in the country. With these few introductory remarks, I would now hand over to Professor Sanjay Gupta, who is Dean Research, and we would like to hear him.
Thank you, Dr. Ashok. Well, just to continue from where you left, uh, I would just like to kind of share a few thoughts on key challenges and imperatives which may be necessary in the coming years to maintain high academic standards and retain cutting-edge leadership in the field of planning and architecture education in our institute. Just to highlight some of the salient kind of challenges which probably are being confronted by a country, and we need to respond to them would be the growing urbanization and its impact, the congestion on one hand and inaccessibility and poor connectivity on the other, need for healthier cities in light of COVID-19 pandemic, rapid advancements in digital technology and ICT, which is revolutionizing the whole way we would like to go forward from here. Emergence of new technological advances and solutions like drone, uh, climate change and its impact. I think one of the very important kind of development which is there, and we all know Glasgow conference COP26, which has really created, and India probably has taken a leadership in that in that conference by committing certain goals and targets. And I think it's for the planners and architects to kind of give a helping hand to the Indian policy makers to achieve those goals. Obviously, we all know extreme weather, floods, disasters. They're creating so havoc. Chennai at the moment is reeling under that impact. Then another point would be inequities in service deliveries of urban infrastructure. I think this is also extremely important. We need to kind of move and see how we can ensure growing aspiration for better quality of life. I think this is something which is really now coming up, and how our teaching pedagogies can actually incorporate methods and procedures by which we can capture the aspirations of people in a final delivery would be very important. Absence of good governance. And I think we also need to be cognizant that decision makers is now becoming aware because of internet access. So I think our teaching methods have to really be leapfrogging. We have to be one step ahead of the decision maker. We can't just be lying back. Some of the areas in architecture probably would be looking into the rural hinterland. I think we have been all along focusing on built environment in the urban areas, but I think rural what would be something which architecture and architects would like to kind of take it forward, and also looking into some non-design subjects which need to be taught to our students, like social science, psychology, economics, finance. I think these are some of the challenges, and these are some of the directions in which probably our institute may like to take it forward. And lastly, I think in our present pedagogy, I feel there is an intense focus on teacher and not on student. The present system of education probably it's more input based, not output based. I think it's on the product and not on process. It's on teaching and not on learning, resulting in exclusion of students from learning process. I think this is my feeling, and I think the online internet has driven that more, because we are always looking to complete our lectures and not bothering about the two-way part of it, the reverse part, whether the student is getting that kind of learning. So I think this is really a challenge. So we need to evolve innovative pedagogies and methods for enhancing student interaction in the teaching process. Further, we must emphasize practical utility of the theoretical knowledge being imparted to our students so that the students are not away from reality. I think this is another challenge. Most of us do try to do it, but I think we need to kind of take it forward. I am sure faculty members would keep some of these challenges into mind while developing new courses, so that we produce a credible professional workforce which is competitive, which is updated, which is capable of responding to the changing dynamics of urban and rural habitat of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sanjay Gupta. May I now invite our director, Professor P.S.N. Rao, to deliver his address. Professor Rao, you are on mute. Professor Rao, you are on mute.
उनको फोन करो।
Text.
किसी और के पास
Okay. Professor Rao, can you hear us?
नहीं, वो जो म्यूट कराना है ना,
उधर
उनको,
म्यूट है।
तो कोई उनका जो ऑपरेटर है वो करेगा म्यूट, किसी और के कंप्यूटर से की रिकॉर्डिंग है।
We can't hear you.
म्यूट ना बोलो, वहां से
आप आपका म्यूट है सर। हाँ म्यूट है आपका, म्यूट। नहीं, आपके लोगों ने म्यूट किया उधर से। मैं ऐसे कर सकता हूँ, जो फोन इधर को करूँ, नहीं होगा उससे।
नहीं
हाँ अनम्यूट करो।
नहीं, वी कैन नॉट।
वो लोग करेंगे। आदमी कहाँ चला गया मेरा?
स्पीकर मोड में डाल दो।
हाँ स्पीकर पे ही है।
स्पीकर में डाला है वो, ज्यादा उसका वॉइस नहीं होता ना।
नहीं, मैं उनको बुला रहा हूँ। वो अनम्यूट करना है, म्यूट हो गया।
Okay. Okay, so I think I am now unmuted. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to greet all of you on the National Education Day. Today is a very auspicious day for all of us who are in the field of education. And why we are celebrating this day has already been explained by Professor Ashok Kumar as well as Professor Sanjay Gupta. So the contributions of Abul Kalam Azad are tremendous. He has been a man of many parts. He was a journalist, he was an author, he was a philosopher, he was a theologian, he was also a politician, a freedom fighter. He was a man of many parts. And he contributed greatly to nation building and particularly to the education sector. So the reason why we are celebrating the National Education Day is not merely to remember his greatness, but more to be inspired by the great work that he has done. And how is it that we can emulate, even if in a small portion, how can we contribute the way in which Abul Kalam Azad ji has contributed? So what are the things that we need to learn from him? One of those things is that if I am to recall, long back in the year 1912, he had written several articles in a weekly called Al Hilal. And this paper, which he had written way back in 1912, became so popular that there were 26,000 copies in those days that were circulated. That number may appear to be very small because probably for everything that you put up on your Facebook or Twitter, you may get twice the number of likes or whatever you may like to call it in the present day language. But in those days, 26,000 was a very big thing. So what is important is that how can we spread the message of nationalism, of patriotism, and whatever we do, how is it good for the nation? How is it going to help the poorest of the poor? That was the message which Azad had left us with. And when we today are working in whatever be our domain, it can be urban planning, it can be transport planning, it can be whatever. How is it helping the nation? And how is it helping the poorest of the poor? I think that is the message that is very important. And therefore we need to take this message from him, so that whatever way in which we contribute in our own domains of activity, in whatever little way we can, we should always contribute to our society. And education, the purpose of education is enlightenment. The more knowledge that you gain, the more humble that you become. So therefore it is important that on these occasions we reiterate these fundamental thoughts, and we try and put them into practice, so that we can also follow in the footsteps of our first education minister. As has been rightly said by the speakers before me, there have been several others also who have contributed in their own ways. The subsequent ministers who headed the ministry, and several other personalities have also contributed to the growth and development and enrichment of education in this country. And we as teachers, we have a very, very serious responsibility that we carry on our shoulders, because our essential job is to shape the future of this country, because you are shaping the minds of people, and it is the mind that determines the action. Whatever you do every day is because something is happening in your mind. And who is shaping your mind? It is the teacher. So therefore the teacher is a very, very important pillar in the society, and you will make or mar the future of this nation and of this world. And therefore you carry this responsibility upon your shoulders. So you need to bear this in mind, and let us all um, follow in the footsteps of Abul Kalam ji. Universal brotherhood was something that he also preached. uh, we can have differences, but then we all need to be united. And brotherhood was a concept and an idea that he very vociferously uh, propagated and also practiced. He contributed, of course, to the building of several institutions, IITs, the first IIT, Jamia Millia Islamia, and of course the University Grants Commission, and several other things. So with these few words, I would like all our faculty members to remember Abul Kalam Azad ji for all the nice things that he had done, and let us follow in his footsteps. And in this modern era, where we are talking about online classes, we are talking about software technologies, where we are talking about various other kinds of things, in this evolving society, where we are moving in probably a much different direction than what was there during Abul Kalam's time. We have our own challenges in the present day context. So we should address our problems of our society in our age, in the present age. So with these few words, I wish you all a very happy National Education Day, and I'm very happy to see that we are all in this very noble profession of teaching. Teaching is often said to be a noble profession. So this is a profession, perhaps the only profession, where we are expected to give much, much more than what we take. So let's all give our best to the future citizens of this country. Thank you very much. Professor Ashok Kumar, all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. With this, we will close this meeting, and I invite those who are physically present here for a cup of tea. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Jai Hind. Jai Hind. Jai Hind. Jai Hind. Hello.